Hi everybody. Was that opening unnecessarily extra? I think so, but it's fine. For this, I'm going to be using some fake succulents. That string of pearls is from maybe Hobby Lobby, and everything else is from Dollar Tree. I have my gold paint pen, which I always have, a glue gun, some of this disgusting moss that I hate, and one of these squeaky rats. Now before I do anything, I want to give proper credit to Laura from Garden Answer, who did this maybe last year or the year before with one of these Dollar Tree rats, but she actually planted succulents in it, like real succulents, which I would have done, but I can't keep succulents alive to save my life. I can grow a whole field worth of corn, I can feed myself all winter with what I grow during the summer, can't get a succulent to live, but whatever. So if you ever plant anything or grow anything or just want to look at some really beautiful gardens, go subscribe to Laura at Garden Answer. I'm going to link her below and go check her out because her and her husband do amazing things. So I'm right now just trying to figure out where I want these succulents. I know that I want the really big ones because I want it to look like just this mass of succulents growing out of this rat. So I'm placing them around, and then to get them in there, I just make a little X with my X-Acto knife just to kind of pressure fit them in there right now. And if you saw that I glued the bottom before, I just put a dot of glue on the bottom and kind of pushed it into that hole because it was squeaking, and my dog was not having it. He wanted nothing to do with that rat. He wanted me to give it to him. He thought it was his. It wasn't his. So I'm making another little hole down here. And I don't end up using the string of pearls. I don't know what this huge thing is. These weren't the little potted succulents. These were the succulent picks they had at Dollar Tree. I like fake succulents because they look so good. I mean, they really look good. This one I don't make a hole for because it doesn't have an actual stem. So I'm just marking a spot where I know that I want to glue it right there once I take everything off to put the moss on. And now I'm going to try my hardest to get this string of pearls somewhere in here, and I give up and I edited all that out. So now I'm taking everything off because there's marks where marks need to be and there's holes where holes need to be. And you guys, this moss, I'm just going to order like a nice big bag of moss from Amazon because I hate working with this stuff. It's so gross. It's so messy. I know it's $1, but is it worth the time it takes to clean up? No. I think I'd rather spend the money on something else that actually looks nicer. They have that nice bag of mixed moss at craft stores. Like, I know I've gotten it from Hobby Lobby before, and I think I've seen it at Michael's. It's like purple moss and like some little mushroom things. I really like that one. So I'm just gluing this on, mostly because I want to have something between the succulents instead of just rat skin. His whiskers are so weird. I wish he would have cut the whiskers off. They look like little pieces of spaghetti sticking out of his mouth. So now I've glued the moss on and I'm looking for my holes again. Which, oh, there it is. So I'm going to pop some glue in there. And then try to remember which one I had at top, which was this one. And then I'm just going to push it in there. And I did have to go back and add some glue underneath these because they are so big and they're heavy and the rat is hollow and light. So they were kind of moving back and forth. They weren't stuck on there great. So I do go back like right here and just add some glue to further secure it in and then shove some moss in there to cover it up. If you guys like succulents, you really have to go check out Laura's channel. She has done some amazing things with putting succulents where you're like, hey, plants shouldn't go there, but she'll put them there and they'll look wonderful and they'll live, and it's amazing. There goes this one at the bottom. I have a little trouble getting this one in, so I do kind of shove some more glue on the side and then tuck some moss on top of that. And the one I really have trouble with is the one that doesn't have a stem because there's nothing holding it in except for the glue. So I have to hold it there and then squeeze some more glue around it and hold it there some more. But I am using my Gorilla Glue sticks and they work really good to hold stuff like this. See that going everywhere? That was me sneezing. think it's from the moss too. So I'm putting this last big one on him right here. He looks like a Pokemon. Was that Pokemon with all the stuff on his back? Blastoise? I love Pokemon. So I put some on the succulent, I put some on the rat, and now I'm just going to hold them together for an extended amount of time, which you don't have to watch. Thank you, magic of editing. So that's all secure, and now I'm going back and tucking some more moss in, just to make sure everything's kind of covered. Oh my god, this stuff is such a mess. And if I have any like little spaces to get in, I just use a pair of wire cutters that were right next to me, because my tweezers that I usually use to get in tight spaces were in my office. So that's about it. I mean, he's a rat with succulents coming out of him. What more do you want? I do like his gold eyes, though. They look much better than the red ones. But that's what I use the gold pen for. I don't even know if I got into that. But he does have little gold eyes. He's got a lot of succulents on him. And now Video Me bids you adieu. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please comment, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, share with your friends, and let me know in the comments below whether or not you're going to make yourself a succulent rat. And go check out Laura. She's awesome. Bye, guys. Hi everybody. Today I'm working on 3 Dollar Tree makeovers. I was watching Annihilation with Natalie Portman and Jennifer Jason Leigh a couple of months ago, and I was totally into all these weird animals they had with this vegetation growing out of them. And when I saw these very cheap looking skeleton animals at Dollar Tree and Dollar General and Family Dollar, I thought there had to be a way to make them look better, and of course the answer as always is spray painted gold. But I didn't just want to spray paint it gold, so I added some things to them before I spray painted them so they would be a little bit more interesting. You don't need anything specific. I pretty much grabbed some stuff that was around my house. I have some pearls, some beads, some metal spikes. They're plastic, but they're supposed to look like metal. Some leftover spring florals I got on clearance from Walmart, and I just kind of went for it. I put the pearls in the back of the spider right here because I wanted to mimic the shape of, is it the spine? Spiders don't have spines, but I guess that's what that's supposed to be. And to bring that over into the legs, I added some pearls on there. This was one 98-cent pack of pearls from Walmart with the adhesive on them, and they went pretty far. Now I am using, I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't know, I just wanted something long and spiky that gave this suggestion of vegetation coming out from the back of the head, kind of like a collar or a crown. And then I added these things. I have no idea why I bought these. They're very plastic looking. I mean, they are plastic, but they look like plastic too. But they were 50 cents on clearance at Walmart, so I guess I must have bought them in spring for something. Really, the sky's the limit with this. You can glue pretty much anything on here, and although it might look weird and out of place, once it's spray painted gold, it's going to look great. This is a fall floral from Dollar Tree. Again, I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's kind of flocked, but not. You could also do this with some twigs. I just wanted to use the plastic florals because I knew they'd be a little less prone to breaking, I guess. And now I have some other big pearls that were off to the side, and I am just going to kind of cluster them on the head. Just really to give it a little bit more interest, and then I took it outside and I gave it a good coat of gold spray paint. My preferred spray paint is Rust-Oleum Bright Coat in Metallic Gold. That is the best gold spray paint you can get easily. And that's what it looks like. It looks terrible in pictures. It looks so much shinier in person. If you're by a Michaels that does sell Montana products, they have a gold spray paint that's beautiful too. These are the skulls on the little pedestals from Dollar Tree, and what I was showing you is that I bought both of these this year. One of them has a closed mouth and the head looks really weird, and then one of them has this hinged jaw, and the face shape looks so much better. So I bought the closed-mouthed one, and then I saw the open-mouthed one at another Dollar Tree, and I was like, well, I gotta get that. And I started out with this one already sprayed gold. These things I'm gluing in here are called Billy Buttons. They're from Walmart. Don't know what a Billy Button is. They're just kind of like, I don't know what they're kind of like. They're just little spiky, flowery things. I'm adding some random flowers in here just to fill up the head because I'm going again for a crown here. You can see my little spikes in the background, some little chip beads. This is part of the skeleton garland. I just cut one of the skeletons up because I guess if I was a golden king, I'd probably wear people bones in my head. Maybe not. There's a spine, you know, because that's something you need. And let's stick a foot in there too, maybe. Skull. See, none of this looks right at all, but once it's spray painted gold, everything becomes very cohesive. And I'm adding some more of these purple flock twig things. I like Dollar Tree's florals a lot. It's just sometimes they make up things that just aren't anything. I mean, this kind of looks like an asparagus fern, but that's not what it is. This green thing, I don't know. I was using these to give myself a little height because I wanted everything concentrated on one side, kind of. So those are in there. And now I'm starting to add some of the spikes. I think these were from Michaels. They're actually sew on. You can see some holes on the side are visible. That doesn't bother me. It made more sense to use this with the holes in them instead of going out and buying something. And one of my little centers fell off on that flower, so I just glued another spike in place. Now I'm adding some more of this, whatever it is, green stuff. Now I really want to track down the tag and see what they're calling this. So you pretty much just keep adding. I think this would be a fun thing to do, is go and get the skull, go get your spray paint, and challenge yourself to make one of these and make the spider just with the things you have around. And right here I'm going in to add these chip beads. I don't know what stone this is. I used to do a lot of jewelry making back in the day, and I have a lot of beads left over that I'm always trying to use for something. So I'm using them here, but I don't I don't know what that's supposed to be. I don't think it's real, whatever it is. It's probably imitation made out of glass, but it gave me that kind of shard-looking texture I was looking for. And I'm really just putting some glue on and sticking them in there. I'm trying to form a outline right now, I guess, or a base. Because I'm going to go back after I have my base in and really start packing in the stones and getting them out at some good angles. As you can see here, I'm just going back and making sure some of them are turned up, but they stick out some. You're mostly just adding a lot of texture, so everything shows up when it's all spray painted. And here it is. I really like this one, but word of warning, I put so much stuff on it that I had to stuff the head with some dried beans to get it to stand up straight, because it was leaning to one side. This bat is ridiculous. As soon as I saw it, I didn't get one because I was like, there's nothing I can do with that. Like, nothing. I can't think of a single thing. But I bought it anyway, and then I remembered I had this frame from the Dollar Tree from last year or 2 years ago, and I was like, well, what if he was like a taxidermy thing? You know, like the butterflies with the pins, but he's just so stiff, and I needed to figure out a way to change that. So I set up this very rinky-dink and probably dangerous heat gun assembly over here. It is my heat gun that's turned on top of a picture frame being supported by a bottle of tacky glue. If you do this, be careful. I was fine. I had no problem. There were no fumes or anything. It smelled like burning plastic. Not even burning plastic, just like warmed up plastic. As always, you know, work in a ventilated area. My back door was open because it was raining for 100 years. And I know that I kind of want him to look like he is guarding himself or shielding himself from something. So I am moving his wings in because they were out and they just looked ridiculous. He looked very flat. So I want to give them a little bit of shape, so I'm bending them at the joints. So there's one up there where the shoulders would be, and then there's one, like, I guess that would be the elbow, and then, you know, the wrist. I don't think bats have elbows, but I'm not a batologist. So see, he kind of cowers. And if you have a part that's too hot to hold, use some pliers, anything. This didn't get super hot in any one area because it's plastic, but it could very easily, depending on how long you heat it for. And don't go overboard, because if you heat it too much and you bend it too far and it gets all stretched out and weird, it's going to be hard to get it back. So I think this is pretty much it. Yeah, that's how I want him to look. Just kind of like, oh no. And then I went out and sprayed this frame with the Bright Coat metallic gold, and it looks amazing. This is how good the paint looks. I don't know why it only looks this good in this video, but look at that. That looks like metal. And it's a plastic frame from the Dollar Tree, from the Halloween section. And I've spray painted the little back where the skeleton was, I think it was a skeleton, just with matte black spray paint. And I spritzed over a little bit of the gold, but you can't really see it. So here's our bat guy with his weird feet. And I just want to get him in the middle. Yeah, that looks really good. I love that paint. But definitely work in a ventilated area with that, because it is noxious. Now, the only place he's really touching on here when he's laying down is on his little shoulder blade areas and his feet. That was fine, because it's not like he needs to be cemented onto this board. And I just got him on there and pressed him down and let it cool. And there you go, 3 quick and relatively easy projects to do to level up your Dollar Tree finds. I really like the bat, just because I really, really love that frame. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Here's some closing shots. He looks great. I hope they sell that frame again. I'm going to get like 10 more. So if you could remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share with your friends, follow me on Instagram, all that good stuff. I would really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And I'm trying to get my channel back to where it used to be. You guys have a nice day. Bye. I totally forgot to wave at the beginning of this video. Sorry about that. Today we're working on a wreath using one of these splatter screens from Dollar Tree. You just take the knob off and you can use it for crafting. It does leave a hole in the middle, so you have to put something over that. I'm going to use this pumpkin, which we're going to have to cut in half. And those tools next to it that I'm pointing at right now, those are going to be absolutely no good. Ideally, you would use a hot knife to do this, but make it work with what you have. I got a glue gun, I've got an assortment of florals, not really many flowers. I think there's one flower in the end of this, but mostly leaves and some hydrangea, some berries. Need some glue sticks, a glue gun, obviously. This is a piece of jasmine that I pulled out of my fence for just a little natural element. I really like the way this wreath came out. So the first thing we're going to do is take off the handle and take that bad boy outside and spray paint it. I use gold. I think it would also look good in copper or bronze, or the oil rub bronze. The copper would probably be really pretty. So what I'm showing you now is that I have the grid on the screen lined up diagonally, so it's not up and down, it's slanted each way. It's like at a 45-degree angle. Now here comes this disaster. I think this is a pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, not 100% sure. It probably is. It could possibly like hold up a building. It is so firm. It's so hard. I mean, you can see this is a brand new blade in here and I am just jamming it in there. So maybe try to find one that's not so hard. I mean, I'm thinking this is from the Dollar Tree, but it is of such high quality. Look, I crack it open like a pomegranate. And now I'm just seeing that this side is the flattest, because it does have to go up against that screen. And you're going to see that on the back, but I'm going to cover that over with some paper. And I did try to cut this stem in half, but that absolutely in no way was ever going to happen. I would need a power tool. I would need an engineering degree. I don't know what I would need. This pumpkin was... let's just be glad I have fingers. So there you go. I was trying to cut it in half so I would have two sides that I could use to make two of these wreaths, but the other side kind of got chopped up when I was cutting it apart. And there I was just clearing out a little extra foam on the back so I can make sure it sits on the wreath. Now I'm just positioning it here so I can make sure when I start placing my florals, I'm going to put them in the lower, if it was a square, I'm going to put them in the lower left-hand corner. And here I am just choosing from the plate of flowers I have over there. For my color palette, I want to use that blue purpley hydrangea because it's one of the nicest florals I've seen at Dollar Tree. It's a really nice color. I really like the way this looks. I'm trying not to go too yellow, and I like that rusty kind of hydrangea that went with it. And now I'm just going to start forming my little side swag thing. I say the bottom left corner because it's looking in the bottom left side of your screen. That's where I'm going to be concentrating, and not a half round shape, but kind of like a crescent shape. So I'm just sticking in these hydrangeas. I've cut all these flowers up pretty small. I really like this hydrangea. I liked it so much with the orange because they're opposites on the color wheel. So it makes the blue and the purple blue flower look bluer, and it makes the orange flowers look a lot more orange. I really wish they'd come out with like an antique green hydrangea, because when I was a florist, that's what we were using a lot of in wedding arrangements, and it was so pretty. Wedding arrangements, centerpieces, bouquets, stuff like that. These are just some of those styrofoam berries. I always try to get these every year, and inevitably when I go, there's like 50 of them popped off and broken. You can see the styrofoam on the inside. I think these look good because they put them out and I literally picked them up and put them in my basket. And they have a nice little bit of kind of like a corally color, which goes good with the blue and the orange. Now this is that rusty orange again that I really liked. I would have preferred all of the rusty orange, but they really only had the hydrangea and whatever that flower was supposed to be. Here's a grapevine ball again. I cut out about 5 minutes of me trying to get that stuck. It did not want to stay, but I got it eventually. So I'm kind of just working on the bottom now, but I'm trying to keep it somewhat balanced. I want it to be heavier on the bottom because you want that weight at the bottom of anything that you're doing pretty much. And I did add some leaves. The leaves that I picked out are the greener ones from one of the picks I had. Just because there was already so much orange, I thought that the green would play good with the blue hydrangea and the rusty kind of orange. And this is pretty much what it is. I'm just kind of filling up these areas. See, that's the green leaf. I kind of like that. I didn't have enough to do as many as I wanted. I think I only had 3 from that bush. There's a little Chinese lantern. I think these are the mini pomegranates, which look nothing like pomegranates. What is that? No, that's another Chinese lantern. Dripping bloom, that's what it said on the tag. There's the pomegranates. I guess they kind of do look like pomegranates, but I think they're more like crabapple looking. This is that dripping blossom again. I think I put that other red piece at the top. I hope I do. Maybe I don't. And now I'm just filling in the other stuff in this little area because I'm going to glue this maroon, red, chrysanthemum, I think it is. I don't know. Sometimes they say what the flowers are, sometimes I can tell what the flowers are, and sometimes it's just like, okay, I don't know what that is. But I guess it's like a mum. Get it on there and hold it real good. And now see, it's diagonal again. The lines of the grid are diagonal, and I'm just trying to see where I want the pumpkin. I know I have to cover up the hole in the middle, but I was just trying in other places, but it looks best in the middle anyway. So I'm slapping on a lot of glue and then smashing it down here and moving it around a lot, looking at it in a bunch of different ways because I want to get it straight. Spoiler alert, I don't get it straight the way I want it. I end up taking it off after everything's done and fixing it, and I put a little rope hanger at the top to hang it from, but you have to offset it. You can't put it in the center and expect it to hang straight because there's so much weight on one side of the splatter screen, whatever it is. So you have to move it over to the left some to support it. Now I'm just tying a little knot in some raffia to give it a little more natural element. I'm gonna glue that in. That's about it. I had a lot of fun with this. And it came out a lot better than I thought it was. I had it in my head, but I wasn't quite sure. But I like it. I think it came out really good. I hope I remember to wave goodbye. Bye! Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Please remember to comment, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and share with your friends. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching. Hi everybody. Today I'm working on a fall wreath. I actually found this wreath on the side of the road. Somebody was throwing it away and I was like, nope, that's too expensive to throw away, and nothing was wrong with it. Then I got it home and I thought it was a circle, but it's more of an oval, and one side is definitely thinner than the other side, but I'm gonna make it work because I'm going to concentrate my florals on the bottom left-hand corner, which is my preferred method anyway, most of the time. I really wanted to challenge myself with this because I never buy these pre-made bushes. There's always something in there that I'm like, no, I'm not even going to use that. So I saw this one and I love these two orange peonies and these two more maroon ones. I like the orange yellow berries. I like that the purple was in there. I didn't like the purple that was in the bush. So to supplement that, I got some matching flowers from Dollar Tree. These were from Walmart. They went really well. It was like a nice bridge between the red and the orange. These are maybe from Dollar Tree. I've got some of these pumpkin stems. More pumpkin stems. I have some natural stuff off to the side that I've just kind of glazed over a little bit with some gold spray paint. And these are the grapevine balls from Dollar Tree. Now, a lot of people, when they see a wreath that I make, they say like, oh, I wish I could do that. And really all I'm doing is gluing stuff to something else, you know? Like it's not rocket science. You do have to have a certain eye for it, but I think the biggest problem people face is that they don't know what goes together. So when I saw this bush, I was like, you could literally cut everything off of there, glue it on a wreath, and you'd be done. It's not enough for a wreath for me because I'm a little bit extra, but I wanted to go through my process of what I bought to add to it and why I bought those colors and why I bring in other colors. And normally I would be gluing these flowers into the wreath with their stems on, but I couldn't cut the stems. My hands just, they're not, they're not my friends. So I'm setting up this kind of arch around the bottom quarter of the wreath with just these big main flowers. And now I kind of have all my stuff on the side, and I want to establish more of the lines that I'm working with. So I'm putting in my longer things, my things that are going to provide a little movement. If you saw in the pictures earlier, you could see the little pumpkins waving in the wind. And I'm really just going through and adding. And I don't think you really need any instruction beyond that because you know what looks good. And if you put something down before you glue it and you look at it and it doesn't look right, you pick it up and move it. If you did glue it and you don't know what it looks like, take it off and glue it somewhere else. But I'm always a really big fan of this like diagonal lower left hand corner swirl thing, swipe, whatever you want to call it. So right now I've mostly stayed with the same kind of this orangey kind of color with the maroon burgundy kind of color. These yellow berries right here stand out. So now that I've got most of the color established, I feel more confident about putting those in right now because I feel like if I put them in earlier, that's all I would have looked at is those yellow berries because they're the brightest. They would stand out more than anything. So if you're worried about putting something like that, try putting it in later on. I'm just tucking my pine cones and my grapevine balls in any little holes just to kind of break up the monotony of just nothing but flowers and leaves. And like I said, I just kind of very lightly dusted these with some spray paint. I wasn't going to include many leaves, but I did pick some up because there were some spots showing where I didn't want them to show, like right there. And I filled in with those, and I think I go back later and add some more green. It was looking kind of monotone, and I want it to be monotone, but not completely monotone. And you can see I added those little berries and then this sprig of whatever it's supposed to be. And now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do in this hole. And I went through a lot of stuff. I went through a Dollar Tree pumpkin, the velvet pumpkin that I made, another Dollar Tree pumpkin. I attempted making a bow, but I didn't want a regular bow, so I was trying to just do some loops and some tails. And I could have put a gigantic florist bow on this and called it done, but I don't like that. I really don't like that. For me. I mean, if somebody's like, hey, will you make me a wreath with a giant bow on it? I'm like, absolutely, show me the money. But for me, if I can get away with not doing it, I'm not going to do it. So this is just sped up of me really trying to make it happen. And I am really trying to make one of those pumpkins happen. Even though the orange one is not the right color, the velvet one is too big. The brown one's too big, and that yellow one is too small, I think. I think if it would have been a bigger size, it would have worked. So now I'm just taking raffia, and I do this a lot where I just take the raffia and like tie a big bow in it. Not trying to make it perfect or anything. It's raffia, it's going to be all over the place. Then I just kind of fluffed that up and stuck it in there. And it doesn't show completely, but it's there, and the tails hang down, and it gives it a little bit of movement. There I go with the pumpkin again. I am determined to get that in there. Oh no, I'm just going to put a flower over it. Perfect. Oh, no, I want it in there one more time. It's not happening. Get it out of there. It looks like a bell pepper. So yeah, I just stuck some more flowers in there, came back, filled in a little bit more. And that's it. You're gluing stuff. So don't be afraid of making wreaths. Just go for it. You know, stick them in there before you glue them. If you want to just try anything, get the Dollar Tree stuff. Even if you're like, oh, I don't want to put the Dollar Tree flowers on my house, just buy them, work with them, figure out what your design style is, and then you can go to Hobby Lobby and be charged their astronomical, ridiculous prices. So this is it all finished, and I have some shots of the rest of it for you. I took these outside, and the light was kind of pretty, but I admit to manipulating it a little bit with Photoshop to make it even prettier. I hope you guys have a great day. If you could please remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on Instagram. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hi everybody. Before we get started with today's video, I just want to tell you that things don't always go as planned. So I'll get into that a little bit later, but right now I'm going to show you how I made this candy cane sweater deal. This is a Dollar Tree wreath form. I wrapped it with masking tape from Dollar Tree and then used some Mod Podge from Dollar Tree and some brown paper bags from Dollar Tree and just kind of paper mache over it. The masking tape would be enough, but I just wanted a little bit sturdier something. This is the sleeve of a sweater I got from Goodwill. If you go looking for a sweater, try the plus size section because they're bigger. Obviously, you're getting more for what you're paying. And the sleeves tend to be a little bit longer. And this is just part of one sleeve. But I figured with the sweater I got, it was an extra large. It wasn't even like a big and tall size or a plus size. I could probably do 3 of these, maybe 4. 1 with each sleeve and then 2 with the back. It was kind of like a V-cut, so there wasn't enough in the front, but yeah. And what I'm going to do here is, because I want the cables on the sweater, on the knit, to follow the middle of the candy cane, I'm gluing that down first. And it's a knit. You can pull it, you can stretch it. It's got a lot of give. So I'm going through and I'm just gluing it down and making sure I get this part down first. And I'm just kind of working in sections throughout this whole thing. As you can see, there's a lot of holding. I mean, this is sped up, but I mean, obviously this is sped up. But yeah, I'm getting this down all the way. And I started at the hook of the candy cane because I was okay with having the armband at the base of the candy cane. Because, you know, it's obviously knitted, and I thought it would be nice to have the ribbing down there. So I'm just gluing and pulling and stretching because I want to have enough to wrap around the end like I did on top. Then I'm folding that up right there. And depending on how much of a perfectionist you are, you could go through when this is done and not even cover up the back. I ended up covering mine with felt, but it's not necessary because it kind of looked okay by itself. I mean, if you're making this for yourself, it doesn't really matter, but if you're making this to sell, I would, go back and clean it up. So now I'm gluing down the sides, still on the front, and as I'm gluing that down, I'm also gluing down the back. And the end right there is just going to get wrapped up like a present on both sides. So see, this whole section all done. And I was a little bit more liberal with the glue underneath the cables because it was thicker, but you don't want the shiny spots of glue showing through the sweater material. Or the actual sweater, I guess, not sweater material. Coffee break. I was filming this... Oh god, when was I filming this? I don't even know. I think it was Saturday. And I just felt like I was exhausted. I just felt like I had to get it done. Because I was sick Wednesday. Thursday was Thanksgiving. Friday, I was in the hospital, emergency room, twice in one day. And then I had to wait up. I was so tired when I got home from the hospital, and I had to wait until 9 o'clock, which when you've been awake for as long as I had been, it was awful. I had to wait up super late for a courier to deliver my new antibiotics. It was a lot, and I should have not done anything and just, given myself the time to relax and watch a movie or something, but I didn't, and it kind of comes to a head in this video. So now I'm tucking the bottom in here, making sure it all looks nice, cutting out any extra bulk. See where you're kind of pressing these together. If you had cut this perfectly, if you had the perfect size sweater, you could just glue one side down, glue the other side over it, and it would just, because there's some spots in here where it doesn't look bad. But I still went back afterwards and covered up the whole back with several pieces of felt, just strips. And I clipped the inside corners to go around the curve and everything, so. That's about it though. I mean, this was pretty easy to do. I bought these and I covered it with paper mache I don't know, it had to be in October, and I just could not, everything I tried did not work. So here I'm showing you, this is how I ended up, cutting several small strips so they could go around the curve of the cane. And there it is, and I think it looks great just like that. Masculine, if you needed a little masculine something. So now I am... Now I'm trying out this easy bow maker because I'm tired of my bows not looking the way I want to, and let me tell you, this is where we take a turn. This is 5-inch ribbon I'm using now, and I start out with a 6-inch loop, so that's going to give me a 12-inch bow. I don't know what I was thinking, that this bow had to be this big with ribbon that was this big. But I just keep seeing these bows that people are making with this thing, and they're so nice, and they're so even, and I wanted that. I don't think this is any easier than making a bow by hand, but it is more consistent. I think if you have consistency on your own, then this is completely unnecessary, and I think if you have strong hands that don't betray you every time you're trying to do something, then maybe you don't need this. But if you are differently abled in any kind of way, or have any kind of disability or any kind of chronic gnawing pain with you every single day, then maybe this is something that would be good for you. So because, it was a sweater, it was a knit, I didn't want to put anything too glittery or sparkly or shiny or anything, so I just went with the houndstooth, a burlap with a snowflake, a velvet, and then kind of a flannel plaid. And I'm putting them together with a piece of wire. Now that the bow's all fluffed up. I'm putting it on here, and this is when I realized that it is enormous, and you can't even tell this is a candy cane anymore. So, at this point, I'm done with this project. Like, I just want it to be over. But I still want it to be done. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it, so I took the wire off to take the back layer off. Because I knew that would help, because it wouldn't be as big. And then, for whatever stupid reason, I grabbed the pipe cleaner instead of a piece of wire. I don't know why I did this. Yeah, I was tired. And I'm fluffing it out again, and at this point in the video, I just kind of give up. I'm tightening it, and I'm so tired, and my hands hurt, and everything hurts, and I'm done, and I can't do it anymore. I don't know. But I keep going, because why wouldn't I keep going? Because that's what you have to do. When everything hurts and you're stressed because your car doesn't work and everything that can be wrong with you is wrong with you, you just have to keep going, because there's only one alternative to not keeping going, and I'm not ready to admit defeat that easily. So I get the boat back together and, straighten things out, flip things up, and I am audibly sobbing throughout this whole section of the video. And I don't even know what to say. It wasn't good. It was a really hard night over a bow. But I'm stressed. Things are really hard. And if one thing was hard, it would be fine, but everything's hard. I mean, as much as I didn't see it happening, I didn't think it was going to happen, I just broke, because these weren't even. And I gave up. Because sometimes you have to. Hi everybody, happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. What's going on? I'm here with a dupe for a Walmart wreath. Got some Dollar Tree stuff over here, but this is the wreath I'm trying to do. And I thought at first that this was felt, but it is like batting, and it is so much crappier than I thought it was when I first took the picture, because I actually went and picked it up and I was like, oh no. So I've got some felt. I've got the large 18-inch wreath, which I swap out later. I got my ruler, scissors, my glue gun, some masking tape. To do the 14-inch wreath, which I switched to, you need 3 sheets of felt for your wreath. You need 3 sheets of felt for your bow. And then you need something to cover the back with. So like another sheet of your wreath felt. And this video is a little broken up because I ended up kind of cutting my finger off halfway through. So I had to pause and stop hemorrhaging and then pick up again. But what I'm doing right now is marking these, the width. Is it the width? Yeah, the width. They're supposed to be marked every 2 inches. I marked them 2.5, and then I ended up with 2 on the end. So just cut them into 2-inch strips the same way I am. And this is 3 stacked on top of each other. And I'm using some really good fabric scissors to cut these with. And so I got that one, and I made sure that I wasn't cutting it jagged or anything. And then here, I'm like, okay, well, if I can pick this up, I can kind of just get in here and snip that. Oh, no, okay. So I'm not going to show you guys that, but that was me just cutting through my finger, and then I put a band-aid on it, and it immediately filled up with blood. So here we are several hours later, once I am all healed and better, and I switched to the smaller frame because the big frame is just, it's so big. I don't have the best filming setup. It's just, yeah, see, those are my hands going everywhere telling you can't do it, but I could do it. I just didn't. These pieces are 2 by 4.5 inches. You can get 12 from 1 sheet of felt. You need 36. I use 36. You might be able to get away with less, depending on how you place them. If you place them like I do, you need 3 sheets of felt. And the felt that I was using was from Create for Less. You can buy it in a pack of like 25, and they have a lot of unusual colors there that you couldn't get in a craft store. And that worked out too. It's about the same price as a Walmart felt, so like 23 cents. So you figure $2 a felt, maybe less. And I'm wrapping the frame with some masking tape just to give me a base to glue on. I bought this roll of masking tape like a week ago, and I have used it so many times, I don't know how I was ever doing anything without it. And right there I was just marking the cross braces because that's where I'm going to start gluing at. I had problems trying to lay this down one right after the other because I couldn't get them to have the right angle, if you know what I mean. So I just decided, let me divide the wreath up, and then divide it again, and then divide it again, and then all my pieces will be evenly spaced. That's the best way I can figure out how to do it. You could definitely buy yardage with this, but I didn't want to deal with wrapping. I'm tired of that. Like just wrapping the masking tape around was enough for me. So see, I have them on every thing, which is there's 6 of them. So they're on every little brace. And now I'm going to go back and glue in between. I'm making sure that I line up the center section. See, it's forming a ring with the tips of the felt strips. I'm making sure those are even. See, I'm like, oh, that was me killing an ant. There's ants all over my table. There's none in my house, but they're all over my table for some reason. So if you see anything moving around, it's an ant. Okay, so now I've got 12 pieces on. And to go in between each piece, I need 2 more pieces. But I want them to overlap each other. So I need to like glue 2 down, flip 1 over, glue 2 down, flip 1 over. And I think I speed this up pretty quick because it didn't take a tremendous amount of time, but it was just, it's repetitive. Like, I don't need you to watch it. I know y'all don't want to watch it, so That's what I did. I glued 2 down, I flipped the next one over the top, and I had a little bit of time to straighten them out if they weren't perfect. And again, when you're doing this, you just kind of want to align the edge of the strips to the edge of the strips that are already there. And see, if you did cut these a little bigger, you could probably get away with using less, because they'd obviously be a little bit bigger, but the 12 strips from one sheet was really the most economical way to use the sheet of felt. So here we go. This is like, I wish I could move this fast. So this took, I think it was like six minutes. I mean, it wasn't long, it was just like repetitive, and I'm not going to include that just to have a longer video. Like, my videos are too long enough as it is already. Too long enough? What kind of language am I speaking today? It's late. Okay, so I'm kind of shingling these all the way around. Then when I get to that last one, I just lift the first one up over it. This is the back side. That's the front. Everything's nice and evenly spaced. Everything looks nice and neat. And now I'm going through and I'm just gluing the strips to the back now. And it's really just a little bit of glue. Fold it in, hold it down. There's a lot of holding in this wreath that I get tired of real quick in a minute. I'm going to show you a little hack. I don't know if it's actually a hack because I shouldn't be doing it and I don't do it often, but you know. So this is when it's all turned. I went in my office, watched a little bit of TV, watched a movie, whatever it was, and now I'm using a 4th sheet of felt to make these little pieces to cover this up, because you don't want the masking tape showing. But you could use some leftover cardboard, you could use anything. I just chose to go with the felt because I had like 80 sheets of it in front of me. And these are, again, the 2 by 4.5. So I'm going to finish that later. And now we're making the bow. So this is 3 sheets of cream felt. They're all nicely stacked up. And I'm very lightly putting a line to show me where I'm going to mark. And I'm going to end up with 9 3 by 12 inch pieces. When I was editing this video, I actually deleted a bunch of me just like writing stuff down and trying to figure out the math for this. So this I want to make sure that you guys see, because this, I didn't know what I was doing when I was doing this, but afterwards I was like, I don't even know how I did that, but it looks so good. I'm folding these in half and putting a line of glue to make the loops of the bow. And then I'm putting a little dot of glue in the middle and pinching it together. Okay? And then folding those edges back. So it's folded like a valley and then 2 mountains on the outside. And I've got 4 of those. Giving it a nice squeeze. Yeah, you can fold it in if you want. I just left them like that. You can manipulate them, see what you like, see what you don't. Here we go again. They're already folded in half, and now I'm folding these little tab parts back. And all this is doing is giving the bow some dimension, because the Walmart bow actually, and yes, I'm holding it in my mouth, I'm sorry. The Walmart bow actually had a piece of plastic inside of it to keep it all together. And now I am gluing 2 loops together to form the left side, and then I'll glue 2 more to form the right side. These look different on different sides, like the top looks different from the bottom, but you can pick which one you like. I liked it with the valley and the 2 mountains. You can do it with the mountain and the 2 valleys. If you turn it upside down. Now this is the tails of the loop, which is 2 more pieces of the 3 by 12 felt. And all I'm going to do is dovetail these edges. So I have a nice little dovetail. Put a dot of glue in the middle of each one. And then I'm just going to fold them in half. But you're not putting it around the whole edge, you're just putting a dot in the middle. Now I'm using a scrap piece of the felt to glue the left side of the bow down. And this is just as a base. I end up cutting most of this away. And then I'm gluing the right side down. Then I'm cutting away the base because I have these two secured together and secured to another piece of fabric. Now I have this 1-inch piece that's just another scrap left over, and I'm going to glue it to the back, wrap it around the front, and glue it again. And this is when I'm really tired at this point of making this wreath, so I'm going to show you my quick little hack, little tip. Cut that off. Instead of holding it, I bust out the compressed air, turn it upside down, hit it twice. You do it once, it'll work. That's fine. Now see, these have the little mountains on them. I'm folding one to the left, one to the right, just to get them to lay flat. And I'm hitting them with the compressed air again because it instantly sets the glue. So if you're ever in a pickle and you need to dry some hot glue really quick, there you go. Not very environmentally friendly, but it was very late at this point. And now I'm using another little scrap piece right there. Do I use that? I don't know. So see, that's immediately, as soon as you hit it with that, it freezes it, and it's done. Okay, so I didn't use that little scrap piece. I'm just going to glue the bow directly onto the tails. And I'm like, oh my god, it looks so good, because I could see it in my head, but, you know, when you see something in your head and you're like, can I actually implement that? Especially doing it with no pattern, I was just cutting, pretty much. I was like, I don't want to use more than 3 pieces of felt, hit it with the spray again. And then I didn't know where because I didn't have the reference picture in front of me. So I didn't know if I wanted it at the top or the bottom or if it was on the side. It was actually kind of off-center to the side, like that. And that's how I eventually did it. It was still glued. I glue it at the top right here, and it's still glued there. I just kind of shifted it a little bit when I hung it up. So I glued it on there, and I do spray that again. I think I cut that out, though. And if you push those loops in, because the bow is kind of big, if you push the loops in towards the knot in the center, the faux knot, it gives it a little more of a puffier look. But I was so happy with how this came out. I love that bow. I mean, I'm actually toying with the idea of making smaller versions to put on top of my presents this year. That's how much I loved it. It looks so cute. So that's it. Simple. It was what? I think it said $238 in the thumbnail as opposed to $16.98. Saved a lot of money. So if you made this far, can you like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications, follow me on Instagram? I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys Friday. Bye. Hi everybody, today I'm working on this picture frame wreath. My Goodwill finally lowered the prices, so I was able to get a frame this big, 16 by 20, for like $3.99. It came with a picture and glass. I got rid of those, spray painted it black, and I was ready to do some stuff on it. I also took the hanger off the back. This is a bow I made before I even started filming this video because as I watch more of my videos back, I'm like, wow, I really can't make a bow in front of a camera. So I made the red and black buffalo check, and then I made a little plaid one to go with it. And I'm going to use those later, but right now I'm putting them down to mark where the bow is going to go so I know where to add everything else. This is a poinsettia I made in one of the other videos. I'm going to link it up above in case you want to make one for yourself. And now I'm just taking my bone folder and I'm just going to scratch the frame. Not really scratch it, I just put some little indentations there. You can barely see them. So I know where I want to start my greenery and have everything come out from the bow. And I'm starting with, this is just a piece of a bush I had. I like this texture when I'm starting with something because it's spiky and it holds glue well and other stems stick into it really well. I don't even think you can see this in the finished product unless you get like super close, but it's a good base to work out of. So I'm just holding those down because that's 90% of what I do is just hold stuff down and wait for it to dry. And this is a pick from Walmart, I think. I just kind of split it up. I have two of each. I use like maybe 4 or 5 picks from Walmart. Just whatever you have, whatever you like. It doesn't really matter. There's nothing specific that you have to add to make it one way or the other. It's whatever your taste is. Now, see, when I put that in there, I'm pushing down, and the pick that I just put in is sticking to the frame, and it's sticking to the first pick I put down, and they're sticking together. So it just gives you a real solid base, and it helps hide all the stems that you're going to end up putting in there, because I do end up putting a lot in here. And this picture was originally horizontal, and when I took the hangers off the back, I just decided to do it vertical because I thought it would look better hanging on a door that way, or hanging in a house, or leaning up against like a windowsill, like above your kitchen sink maybe or something. So this is I'm gonna say this is like cypress or juniper. I think I have another thing that is juniper because it's got some berries on it, but you just want to look for like Christmassy greens. They have that big kind of square thing at my Walmart that's just stuffed full of greens and poinsettias and stuff like that. The display changes seasonally, so I just grabbed some stuff that went together. And maybe some of these pieces are from my floral grab boxes from last Christmas. I know this one right here is from Walmart, because I wanted to make sure I got a little bit of red to go with the bow and to go with the poinsettia and to go with those other berries off to the side. So now I'm just separating these into basically the same lengths because I'm trying to divide them evenly between the top and the side, because you're looking at this upside down. I filmed this upside down thinking that I would not flip it like I normally do when I'm editing, but when I did flip it, it looked weird, and I was like, I can't, this doesn't look like any of my other videos, so I made it upside down when I could have just done it normally, but there really wasn't any room because that frame, it's 20 inches long, so it's pretty big. At least big for my table. So yeah, I think that first piece that I put down is really, really helpful in helping you get things where you want them to go. And all I'm trying to do is fill in and fluff out a little bit. I'm not trying to cover the whole frame because I want to be able to see that. That's the whole point of making it on a picture frame, And with these, I think I end up just pulling them off because I just needed some short pieces. So I was like, I'm just going to pull this stem off instead of trying to cut that. And I was standing up the entire time I did this because I wanted like a down view, and I edited out in my head so many times because I was like, I need to look directly over it without, remembering there's a camera above my head, and if my head's in the way, you can't see anything. This is a ornament from, that looks like a Dollar General tag, maybe? Yeah, Dollar General, or maybe Family Dollar. I don't know. One of the Family Dollar General stores, one of those. It's just a little galvanized snowflake, and I put it in the corner because I'm going to offset the poinsettia down there with something, and I wanted something lighter, a little bit brighter. I don't know where I'm padding it like that. Who knows what's going on. So I'm just going to get a piece of wire and make a more permanent hanger than the jute twine was, and just wire it on there. And later on, I do end up adding a little bit of glue to elevate it some, but I just wanted a little touch of something up in that corner. Because as you can see, the poinsettia down there is a pretty big impact piece. It's big, it's one big hunk of red. So I glued it in, and I spent, 3-4 hours fluffing this thing out and still never managed to get it absolutely perfect, but it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. And then just to make sure that it's really on there well, because the floral tape doesn't really like to be glued with hot glue, so I just added a cable tie, pulled it on there real tight. It's not going anywhere. I mean, I think I could run the world with just some cable ties and duct tape and glue, I think. See, I got it on there really tight, and then I pushed that little lock part. I don't even know what that's called. I'm sure there's a name for it. I pushed that kind of underneath the poinsettia and then just snipped it off. So yeah, I'm not gonna fuss with that too much anymore. These are from, I have no idea, but they were nice. They had a couple little busted berries. If you have those berries where the styrofoam is kind of busted, you can go in and just snip them off instead of like trying to cut off a whole section of it. I'm just going to put those in because I'm getting closer and closer to where the bow is going to go. So I want to kind of taper my stuff in so it just peeks out from behind the bow. And I really loved how this came out. See, this one has a bunch of those broken pieces on there. All I'm going to do is pick them off, cut them off, clean them up afterwards. See if you just snip at the base of the ones that are torn or ripped or whatever it is. Or that whole section. I wish I knew where these were from. I feel like they were part of a nicer pick because they're pretty nice. So maybe from Michael's, one of the things from the grab boxes. This ribbon's from Walmart. It's like $5 a roll, and I've used it far too often for my liking this year so far. I'm putting down some glue, even though there's wire. I'm going to put down some glue just to make sure that everything's super secure because I don't like sending anything out that's not going to hold up really well. So if I have to double secure something, I will. So I wrapped the wire around the back, wrapped it tight, and pulled it to the front and wrapped it again. Now I'm just going to snip off the extra. Now I'm doing pretty much the same thing with the gray bow, except I don't think I added any glue to this one. And this ribbon is also from Walmart. Yeah, I don't know what it is with the bows when I'm trying to do them on camera. I think it's because I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see it, so I'm not holding it the way I actually want to hold it. So these came out a lot better than they normally do. And I do like a double layer bow. I think that gray is like one of my favorite ribbons this year. The gray one and maybe like the cream one from Walmart. The other cream plaid that was in the, what was it, in the wreath with the pie tin in the middle of it. So I'm fluffing, always fluffing. And now I'm going to take all my little leftover pieces and I'm going to glue them into the center of the bow coming out. Not only is this going to use up all your scraps, because I am accumulating so many scraps of like little pieces of floral that I didn't use for something that they're soon going to need like their own storage area in my house, and I have no more storage area in my house. So I'm just taking every little thing that's left over, anything that I can get in there, and I'm incorporating some of the greenery into the bow. And it kind of makes it stand out a little bit more, while also blending in with the rest of the greenery. So I'm fluffing and making sure everything looks nice. And then fluffing again now that I can see it straight on and upright. And that's about it. I'm going to glue this down right here because there's a little spot where the frame was showing underneath the ribbon. And again, this points out the poor thing. It has been fluffed and poked and prodded and twisted and turned so many times it doesn't know what's going on. But hey, it was only 66 cents to make. Make sure you go watch that video if you haven't seen it. So yeah, this is going to be a little off-center when you try to hang it if you were trying to hang it with like a traditional wreath hanger. So I just kind of hung mine to the side because obviously one side's heavier. And as you can see in this picture, there's some more stuff added. I went back afterwards and I tucked in a pine cone and I think maybe like another pick just kind of all over the place. I like those pine cones. They came from another bush from Michael's. There's one underneath the poinsettia too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. I really like this, and everyone I showed it to so far was like, "Can I have it? I want it. Sell it to me." So, um, yeah. You guys have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you on Friday. Bye bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Today I'm working on a little Christmas present for my mom. It's not really a Christmas present because I already gave it to her, but it's a pre-Christmas present because I don't like giving Christmas things after Christmas or for Christmas. So I've got this little urn that I got from Goodwill. I spray painted it black because it was the weirdest color of cream. It was like a buttery, looked like margarine cream color. And I've got a bunch of picks. Most of these are from Walmart. There are a couple left over from my grab bags from Michael's last year, but the majority of them are the 98-cent picks from Walmart. If you're going to make one of these, I would suggest going to Walmart for the picks because Dollar Tree doesn't have anything like this, and what they have that's close is $1. The Walmart ones are 97 cents, and they're much higher quality. So you're getting a lot more for your money. And these are from Michael's, I think. I just cut this bush apart, and all I'm doing now is establishing some boundaries. I put my tallest piece in the middle, and now I'm putting one on every side of the foam block right there. So I know that this is how big it's going to be, and this is how tall it's going to be, and I fill in everywhere around there. And I use a lot of stuff. There's 8 picks from Walmart, and there's maybe 3 big bushes from Michael's. And I want this Santa Claus to be in the front, not centered, just in the front, because my mom saw this on Thanksgiving Day, I think, when the Dollar General ornaments were like 50% off. He was $3, so I got him for $1.50. So I want to make sure that I leave space for him, and I want to make sure I have a nice shape. So I always do that by figuring out how wide something's going to be and how high it's going to be, and then go from there. And right here, I kept thinking, where is he going? Where is he going? So I just marked an X, because X marks the spot where Santa goes. You can see from the side, I'm just kind of working to create a, like a dome shape. This pick might have been from, no, I thought it was from Dollar Tree, but it's not. But as you can see already, there's a bunch of different colors in here. There's like the silvery flock color. The first pine I put in is kind of grayish green. This is more of like, standard garland green. I'm doing that because eventually this is all going to be flocked and it's going to tie all the textures together. So I'm just filling in right now. And that's all there is for a little bit because I go through a lot. But I like to give my mom something every year for like her decor stuff. A couple years ago I made all these felt trees, which are still just sitting like right behind me in my office right now. And I gave her one of those, and she decorates it for every season. And last year I made her a centerpiece that had actual pine in it, from offcuts at the Christmas tree lot. It was at Home Depot, and the guy was like, take them. And I was like, okay. And I turned around and I sold most of them. But I wanted something that you could keep year to year. And I knew when I saw the Santa and she liked it, I was going to have to base everything around that, which worked out pretty good. My mom is like the best person in the world. A lot of people say that about their moms, but with my mom, it's actually true. It kind of makes me wonder how my dad, who is the cruelest, most hateful person in the universe, got her to marry him. But that's a different story. So this is the juniper. And see, I didn't use any of those big pine cones because my plan was to include the little pine cones that are off to the left right now next to the ribbon. But I didn't end up doing that because I just thought it was going to be a lot of extra work. And there were going to be glue strings everywhere. And I was like, no. There are some little pine cones in there, but they were already attached to the picks. That juniper I'm putting in right now, you see that's a brighter green. And I'm going back occasionally just to make sure that my little Santa guy has room. This is one of the Walmart picks. I mean, for 97 cents, that's really nice. I think it is. Because, I mean, when you think if you bought 5 of them for $5, you'd have such a big full bush. And you think about going to spend $5 at Dollar Tree, you'd have probably something just as big, but it would look like crap. And then spending $5 at Michael's, you can't do that. Like, nothing at Michael's is under $27. Tried to get a Diet Coke there one time, and it was like $30. So, yeah. And I am trying to build this shape, but I'm also making sure it's not like a perfect half sphere. I just want the same kind of shape. I don't need it to be every piece is, poking out at the exact same size. It's everything's just like perfectly in there because it's supposed to be organic. These picks I really like from Walmart. I think they call it iced boxwood because it has a little bit of, frostiness on it. They're all plastic, like they're very plasticky, and they're very bright green. So I was having problems when I was trying to use them for other things because they were just really bright, and boxwood is not that bright year round. It darkens up a lot in the winter. Even though it stays alive, I've always found that it darkens up some. So this looks like new growth, kind of. When it's fresh in the spring and it's come, after you trim them, they come back. So yeah, this whole thing is done in here. Like this is what it is, and it's a bunch of different colors. And I have some other stuff that I'm trying to put in there. Like I'm thinking about the pine cones, but I don't know. But I also have these little present ornaments that I got from Walmart. I don't think they were the dollar. They were like $1.97, $1.27, something like that. And I'm just like placing stuff in here. I'm just not gonna clip it in there and go. My plan is to put the presents in there. I have a bunch of jingle bells because I couldn't find ornaments that were just like shiny or matte. Every one of them that I picked up had some kind of glitter on it, and my mom's she's not the one to try to give glitter stuff to. And I have some ribbons I'm going to try to work in. But the first thing I have to do is take all of this out of here. And the reason I didn't try to glue this down is because I'm going to take this whole thing out, take it outside, and spray it. And I'm not spraying it in the container because then I would have had to mask off the container to not get any of the fake snow on it. So I popped the whole thing out, took it outside, gave it, it's about 2 coats of the Santa snow. It looks really heavy in this, now that I'm looking at it, but it's not that heavy in person. I guess because it's top down, like most of the flocking was on the top because I wanted it to look like snow had fallen. And now I'm putting some glue in here, and this did absolutely no good. Because of the way the foam was sitting there, I had to go back after everything was done and just pump a bunch of hot glue in the corners. And you need, Manchurian cup of noodles over there. And yes, Santa Claus, I apologize that I hot glued a stick up your butt. Maybe you should bring me what I asked for Christmas instead of constantly ignoring my pleas. And I won't have to hot glue things up your butt. I also put some skewers on the presents. And you can see on the side I did the bells too. So I put one present right next to him, and then I was trying to put the other one in the back, and it was like they look exactly the same because they're the exact same thing. So I ended up just taking out the skewer and poking it in sideways. So it's just facing a different direction. So now Santa's in there with his little presents. I have all these bells. These are all from Dollar Tree. They have a pack of 6 that's the biggest ones they sell, and then there's a pack of 9 that have snowflakes on them that's like a little bit smaller. They're almost the same size, but I did like the 6-pack better. They just, I don't know. The ones with the snowball, the snowflakes on the end of them, they're nice. It's just they look I don't know. I just like the other ones better, I guess. They look more like Jingle Bells. Oh, that one was hard to get in. There's not really any kind of placement in these. I'm just kind of spreading them out. And while this may look like it just has a front, I did make this for my mom's dining room table, so it was going to be viewed from all angles. So there's interest in the back, and there's interest on the side. But there is a definite front to this, so if she wanted to put it on like a table that was up against the wall, she could do that. Or if she put it on like an end table next to the sofa, it would be fine if someone sitting in the chair next to it looked behind it, because there's stuff back there. Now take a ramen noodle break. Y'all, I have been so nauseous since I started all of these antibiotics. It's been terrible. All I can eat is frozen Great Value brand Egg McMuffins. You know, the Canadian bacon, ham and cheese on the English muffin. And I was like, you know, I can always eat ramen noodles. You know, it's just salty. It'll settle my stomach. There's not much to it. I took like 2 bites out of this thing the whole time I was making this, and I was like, nope, can't do it. And then I'm nauseous from taking the antibiotics. And it makes me not want to eat, but if I don't eat, the antibiotics make me more nauseous. So I'm just like, ooh. I'm going to spend all my money this month just buying pre-made breakfast sandwiches from Walmart. Why am I telling you this? Does anybody care about that? I'm making some little tails right now. This is just like a loop with the 2 tails on it. I'm going to go in and just stick these around to carry the buffalo check throughout the rest of the arrangement. I just wired these in. Pull the tails up, and it's just like a little accent without having to make a full-on bow. My mom deserves like everything for Christmas. And I can't do that for her, but I can make her a bunch of really nice stuff. I'm actually working on something like completely ridiculous for her for Christmas, and I'm staring at it right now, and it's just like, I think I got in too far over my head for this project. Because Christmas is in, what is it? Like 16 days now? Whoa. Okay, so now I'm going to make a bow. Did I speed through this? Because I know that I was not on camera. I might have just cut it out. Because my back has been bothering me. So I wasn't like leaning forward to this. I just like sat back in my chair and I was like, oh my god, let me take a break and rest this back. So this was the red check, and I love this little white ribbon with it's kind of like ticking, but it's not. And at Walmart, this is by the gift wrap. It's not by like the ribbons that are by the bows and everything, like by the Christmas tree stuff. This is by the gift wrap. Because it's only like 1.5 inches. They have some cute stuff over there. You know, it's really small rolls, which, I don't know why. Like, if you're wrapping presents and you're using ribbon, you're going to use a lot of ribbon. Like, I have a 50-yard roll for my presents. So I don't know why they sound like that. So that's where I kind of left it. But, of course, once I was done, like, my mom would have been fine with that. But once I was done, I went back and I added another bow to the front. Just to bring in some of the red buffalo check that Santa's wearing. And a little bit more interest, and that's it. Pretty good. It's super heavy, though. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, share. And I'll see you later. Bye.